Good morning, everybody. It's the Tuesday show. It's brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. I'm Texas Longhorn. That's Paul Wadlington. On Tuesdays of game week, you know what we do, Paul? We break down the upcoming opponent. We got the Florida Gators. Weird team going on right now. So we're going to have to see. But you know where you can always get the best team news? InsideTexas.com. Join for just $1 and get a full year of access to The Athletic. Also, guys, if you scan that QR code, if you're watching on your TV or your laptop or your desktop, you scan that, it'll take you right to the sign-up link. So make sure you guys come and join. All right, Paul, I see a little mute on your icon there, so we'll see if your mic troubles continue. But before we do that, I want to talk to the chat. Good morning, Jose, Jacob. Good morning, guys. Good morning. And then I saw Ryan Nelson, you have a really good question. I will hit that earlier. We're missing the Nugget Master. I don't even know what that means. All right, Paul, let's see if you're back. Are you back? No, you're not. You are unfortunately not. He's been battling this mic for a couple weeks. We're gonna hook him up. We're gonna get him a new mic because there's something weird with the connection. I got all my stats as usual too, guys. I was able to introduce a mismatch function that will actually pull the biggest mismatches of the game. I think that's valid too. He's battling. He's battling. Let's see what we got here. Nope, just unplug it. Go with your base computer audio, I guess. Still can't hear you. We're going to go straight into the Florida Gators while Paul figures this out. Maybe you can come back in. Okay, talk now? Nope.
How's that?
There we go, man.
Oh, it's a miracle.
Hey, W's in the chat, everybody. W's in the chat. Okay. We'll go straight. You want us to go straight into the breakdown, or do you have any kind of bye-week thoughts or anything like that?
Did you have any takeaways from SEC play in a pretty wild weekend?
I don't know, man. It was a fun weekend, but I don't really get too much from. Did you come away feeling better about Texas or worse about Texas? I've heard both sides of this.
I didn't think it was relevant.
Okay, that's kind of how I felt.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, we'll fix our own problems. It's not about competition level, right? The teams that we will play, all have some fallibilities and they have some strengths. Certainly, I think probably some W's that we had written in are not guaranteed now. At Mississippi State, Vandy here, A&M here. I think a lot of people have been like, we'll win in Austin. It's like, we better get some stuff going on offense, right? Because we may have to play a game where we match scores.
Hopefully not, Paul. Hopefully not. All right, let's look. We can talk through the depth chart first. I think first things before we go numbers. Is there any player? Of course, Lagway's. This is when I watched the Florida offense, I watched them kind of out of the corner of my eye at the beginning of the year, and then the past couple of weeks I've been watching, every snap. The offense is a strange thing that's going on there because you see the players and you're like, should be good, right?
Yep.
Returning starters, Lagway last year, Baugh, awesome back. They have what they need at wide receiver, and it is not working at all. Lagway's doing really strange stuff, and Lagway's strength last year was his deep ball, and I would point out that he actually had really bad accuracy, intermediate to short, so he wasn't a full quarterback yet. He was just kind of hitting deep balls. But now they don't even let him do that, Paul. So now his ADOT is like second to last in the league at like around like 6 yards. They're trying to make him play this kind of quicker version of football, and it's not playing to his strengths at all.
No, and I just wonder if that's how people are defending them, and they don't have a solve. Like they're playing guys deep, and they're taking away obvious throws down the middle of the field, down the sideline, which he was nailing last year at a really high rate. And so you'd think, all right, well, Florida should be able to run the ball. They've got a good offensive line. They've got Jaden Baugh They've got Jacoby Jackson, who's a very good backup. No, they can't run the ball either. I mean, it's really weird. They've had some play calling issues where, you can kind of predict based on where the back is offset and where the tight end is. You kind of know where the ball is going to go, or at least what the play call is going to be in the run game. I think all those things, I think they've re-engineered it during the bye week. I think we're going to see something different from Florida. Doesn't mean it'll be better, but we're going to see something very different from them on offense.
When I was looking through their numbers, it's like Trey Wilson and Hayden Hansen, the tight end, they both have tiny A dots. So they're used really in the quick game. And so you can just kind of count those two receivers there by their A dot where they're going to be on the field. And then you can know who's going to go deep, all of that stuff too. So I thought that was interesting. I thought that they were too predictable in how they use guys. It's not shocking to use a tight end not deep. But there were kind of tells within their depth of how they target receivers. This guy is for this guy is for this type of thing that I thought was interesting as well. And I like Hayden Hansen. That's a fun player. But it's very straight. The only thing you can lend it to is coaching, right, Paul? When you have all the theoretical pieces, but also Lagway will just do the weirdest stuff too. I don't know, man.
So apparently he wasn't cleared for throwing or anything live or live-ish until a week before their opener. So he missed an entire offseason, effectively. So that probably didn't help stuff. But, I mean, it just doesn't explain all the other pieces.
Yeah. Well, do you notice how much he takes unnecessary contact? Like, Lagway gets hit all the time. Like, even when he's sliding, he still takes big hits. It's just like he does not protect himself well at all. And it's even when he's trying to, he gets popped a bunch. I think he's a big quarterback and that kind of stuff too. But for an injury prone guy, man, you need to slide 8 yards before someone touches you. And he just gets popped a lot too.
Yeah. I mean, one of the stories of this college football season is offenses, particularly with a lot of returning production, just failing.
Yeah.
Garrett Nussmeier at LSU, DJ Lagway at Florida, of course, Cade Klubnik at Clemson. I mean, they just can't. I mean, LSU's offense is broken right now. I don't know if you've seen them, but
saw them versus Florida, yeah.
Yeah, and they've got personnel. They've got a bunch of receivers who are going to play in the NFL. Garrett Nussmeier was obviously well regarded. There's stuff that teams can't solve, and it's a combo of these two safety, or two high safety coverages, along with defensive coordinators are really attacking protections. And I don't mean the offensive line or the running backs, although that's part of it. I mean literally the protection that you're in. And what we have is we have a lot of college offenses who are running NFL schemes for their receivers and all that stuff, but their protections are basically high school. Like, we're running slide protection. So like a robot, I turn to my left and take a step. And if there's no guy there, I pass block the air. But if someone overloads one side of the field, my slide protection gets ruined and the quarterback gets hit as he's throwing the ball.
Miami did that a ton to Florida, by the way. They kept overloading a side. And that was really interesting. I think the defenses are back ahead of the offenses in the sport. The spread was just slaughtering defenses, and I think the defenses are back ahead. Like, there's going to need to be some type of innovation schematically, a huge step in execution. But even in the NFL, you're seeing that too. The defenses seem to have the kind of RPO spread quick game world figured out. So now, do you have to retro innovate? Do we have to go back to 13 personnel? Do we need to go super heavy in the run game like you saw with Johnson in the NFL? So it's like, you might actually have to take a step back and go into the past to beat these type of defenses now.
Or you may want to have to teach offensive linemen to put their hand down and fire out again.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big part of this is everyone got very spread oriented, which was, just get a hat on somebody, just occupy them, just screen them. And now defenses are running a lot of replacement games. They're doing a lot of, different alignments that are just not normal, within the game. and offensive lines are really struggling to move people off the ball. It's a collective problem. Go watch, if you think UT's offensive line's got some issues, which we've highlighted, go watch LSU's offensive line. Go watch Clemson's. Like, those guys are basically play out of a 2-point stance, and they just waddle forward and briefly get a hat on someone and then watch the guy run away and make the tackle. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, Texas offense has their struggles, but man, the Florida offense, and theirs is the most perplexing. It doesn't make sense because you're like, pieces are there. So basically, these are their normal numbers. I have an ability to just at a quick glance tell who has the advantage. I added a little bit of a mismatch function. All it means, if there's a difference in the rank of more than 80, it's a mismatch. So
Yeah.
if you see the exclamation point, it means Texas not only has an advantage, it's a mismatch. And then I have a little sorting function here that pulls out all the mismatches and stuff like that. So there's a lot of big mismatches in this game as well.
Good job, nerd.
I know, man. It's a lot of fun. It's actually doing nerdy stuff, so I have to do less work. It's just like up front, and then I can just plug and play. So points per game, Florida is 131st in the country. There's 136 teams, guys. So they've been inept. Like, what at one point in Miami, they were like 0 for 10 on third downs, and they got a 3rd and 1, and still they just, for whatever reason, they cannot figure it out. And it's pretty confusing. And you watch Jaden Baugh, who they can't run, but he still makes the first guy miss every time. Like, the backs are actually they lead in like elusivity, yards after contact, both backs. So that means that really their run game should be even worse, but the running backs are still, getting 1 yard when they should have got -2. So that's a big factor. Their offensive points per drive, 129th in the country. Their offensive explosiveness is 131st in the country.
Gosh.
With DJ Lagway, you're like, that was the whole sell, right, Paul? Is that he was completing like 50% plus on deep balls last year. Is that, well, they're not really great down to down, but Lagway will hit you deep. So they don't even have that anymore. So they're not even fighting left-handed. They just don't have a hand right now. It's pretty wild. You know what's strange too, Paul? Their havoc rate for defensive backs are actually fairly low, even with DJ's insane amount of interceptions. Isn't that strange?
He threw 5 picks against
I know.
LSU.
I know. Yeah, because it's just counting. Well, it's just counting, right? If you have 80 offensive plays and 5 of them they're picks, but the rest aren't bats or whatever, and there were bats, by the way. I just thought that was interesting. I would have thought that their havoc rate for DBs would have been one of the worst in the country.
Bats?
Yeah, look, yeah, like Congress Bridge.
Okay.
So here's their rushing plays. What's weird is their success rate is decent. Everything else is horrific. So 129th in the country in explosivity. They're not hitting big runs. Like we said, we like their backs and we like their number 2 back. Yards per rush, 105th. It's pretty wild. Jaden Baugh, come on down, dude. Pick your next school. Offensive line yards, not bad, 41st. And this is what's weird about them. They're bad on third downs, but it's like because they're generally like 3rd and 9.
Right.
But they've been decent. I mentioned the 1 3rd and 1 they didn't get, but that wasn't illustrative of their success at it. They're all right when it comes to their shorter distances, but everything else is a little bit shaky. So if you get into 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, the numbers say that they'll complete fairly well, but they're so inept. They're rarely in a situation where it's 3rd and 1 anyways.
5.4 yards per pass.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, Lagway was averaging over 10 yards an attempt last year.
Yeah. There's good rushing offenses that average more on the ground than they're averaging in the pass game.
Yeah.
So 126 in the country in yards per pass. Lagway gets sacked a bunch, 86 in the country. And then the offensive line pass blocking efficiency, what Paul's talking about, this includes, pressures, quarterback hits, hurries, sacks, everything into one. They're 101st in the country. And then I wanted to see how much of that is Lagway, earning his pressures. It's not, which is the weird part. Their right tackle accounts for like 30-something% of the prop. So attack the right tackle according to the numbers here.
Is he got benched though, correct?
I think so in the Miami game, right?
Yeah.
Because of how bad he was doing. So we'll have to see what the second right tackle will do, but that was like a huge leak in their offense. You could just attack him. Their efficiency is 74th. What are we in? Are we in week 6 yet? Week 5, week 6?
Not for them.
Okay. Well, we're getting close to no priors being involved. It's either probably next week where it'll all be from this season. This is also what's weird. Their standard downs rate is not that bad. You want standard downs, just for anybody that doesn't know, you can run and pass in standard downs. You have your full playbook, theoretically. Their standard downs rate is not horrible. But the problem is when they do get into their passing downs rate, they're 97th in the country. So if this team gets behind the sticks, I watch Florida, and as soon as a run gets stuffed or a pass gets incomplete, I'm like, drives over.
Well,
like
proof of that, look at the third down percentage and look at that. And the average third down distance is not good, but that's not like the most horrendous thing in the world.
Yeah.
Third down percentage is 129th.
Yep.
God.
129th in the country. Average third down distance, 7.02 yards, 71st. Fourth down's a little better. I'm always weary of fourth downs they're early in the season because the sample size is normally really, really, really small. Red zone TD and field goal is at 100%. They're first in the country. My guess, if I looked, they don't get into the red zone a lot. So whenever they do,
answer.
And you will see it, like there's like 1 or 2 drives a game where Florida just crushes it up the field, and then it's nothing for like 8 drives, and then they crush it, nothing for 8 drives. So when they do get in the red zone, they tend to be effective. It's getting to the red zone that's really tough for them. 94th in sacks allowed. This is what's weird. 132nd in interceptions thrown per game, but somehow the DV havoc rate is not high. So I don't know what's.
So it's either picked or there's not a DBU.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's either like interception or nothing bad happens.
Well, given the choice between the two, I'll take a pick.
Yeah.
Than a batted ball.
They're not fumbling a lot. So, like I said, the backs are a bright spot. Jaden Ball needs to go to a better situation because him on a good team, man, he can put you over the top. Tackles for loss allowed, 130th. And like I said, if they get tackled behind the line, Jaden Ball is still going to make 2 guys miss, and then the 3rd, 5th, and 19th guy is going to come tackle him. So it's not him. What's rough here is 34th in returning production. So like you said, this team on paper, it was looking bright. You see here, guys, Texas has a ton of advantages and major mismatches. So Texas defense has a mismatch, a rank of difference of 80 in yards per play, total yards per game, points per drive, explosiveness, rushing plays rate doesn't matter, rushing explosivity, yards per rush. So we should shut down their run game. They should not hit explosives against us, and they should not score often. So something like, to me, this game is like something like 7-24, something like that, according to the numbers. So they should, if they get more than 10, I'd be pretty surprised with how things are going with them.
One thing that might help them, they have a very good freshman receiver named Dallas Wilson.
Is he coming back?
He's coming back, yeah.
Okay.
And that's a big deal for them. He's a legitimate downfield threat, big body. I watched him in their spring game. He set their spring game record for catches and yards, and he looks like a young Rome Odunze. Like that kind of body, that kind of like ball winning ability. So that could be a big function of their offense. But he's not played a ton of football for them. But he's physically okay. He's going to be back.
And do they throw it? Like I said, they are not trying to go deep for whatever reason. And the few times they have, Lagway wants to roll out, throw across his body into double coverage. Like, I have to believe that there's a reason that they're limiting the deep pass because they probably know it won't go well, but it did go well last year. So I don't know. I think they're just as confused with what's going on with Lagway as we are, because it's been strange to watch that difference. And I watched the SEC show that came on Netflix, and I think I talked to Paul and Ian about it like months ago. But he mentions pressure like 2 or 3 times when it wasn't necessarily the question. And I thought that was interesting, and I called it out. I think there's something going on there. Like I go to his Instagram page, right, to pull clips or whatever, and I don't think there's a sponsorship opportunity that he's turned down. I mean, it is literally like, and these are huge brands. It's just like Jordan to Gatorade or whatever, but he is doing a lot in the NIL space as well. And so I think that there's just a lot going on for Lagway right now, as well as the pressure and being on this functional team. Your coach is probably going to get fired here shortly. I think there's a lot on his shoulders right now, and it seems to be showing a little bit. Paul, before we keep going, let's hear a word from Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Any gate can be a tailgate.
So, any final thoughts on the Florida offense besides what the hell's going on?
I honestly, so I watched them again, all 22, and I still can't figure out the source of their malaise. I mean, It's just a combination of things, and then they just can't get untracked. I do think Dallas Wilson coming back is substantive. Like, that's meaningful to their passing game. If they can hit a deep shot with him, that could settle things down and open some things up. But I have to think Texas is aware that DJ Lagway is not going to kill us going 21 of 24 on short and intermediate throws, right? His big value prop is his ability to stand strong in the pocket and hit someone deep. So I would think we would disallow that.
Yeah, it's interesting because we're not a too high defense. We can situationally. So do we play too high to discourage that? Do we stay kind of in our single high world? That'll be interesting because theoretically, if we do stay single high, there are more opportunities deep, but we could game plan that. We can still play too high. Every defense now, we talk about single high and too high defenses. It's kind of like MMA. Like, no one's just a grappler or a striker anymore. Yeah. It's like everyone does everything. It's just kind of what you're more like, what do you do 40% of the time versus 20% of the time type of thing.
Well, I'll tell you what, LSU blitzed the hell out of them, and they never had a solution. LSU just unrelentingly blitzed over and over and over, and Lagway did not handle it well. Another trend of college football, quarterbacks not having any sort of pocket presence.
Yeah, or answer.
Jackson Arnold is just brutal. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. But there's other examples, like not quite as bad, but in that range. And Lagway had some of those moments, certainly against LSU.
Well, there was a Miami overload blitz that they showed pre-snap.
Yep.
And Lagway has to get the ball out. They don't have enough guys to block it. The quarterback has to know. He doesn't even look at the side. He looks to the other direction, and he gets blown up. It's like, first off, you want to throw into that if you can.
Yeah.
But second, just know, like, you have to know that as a quarterback, that somebody will be like, offensive line sucked there. It's like, no, that's on the quarterback. He didn't even look the direction of the guy. So they don't have answers. They're not even aware of what they're seeing. I wonder if there's just an epidemic of like poorly taught football at the quarterback position now. Because it just seems like a lot of fundamentals, and you see it in mechanics. Like, the fundamentals of mechanics are out the window. Everyone wants to do Patrick Mahomes. It's just, I don't think the position's being frankly taught very well right now.
No, and the current trend. So one, I think I observed a couple of years ago, Mahomes has ruined like hundreds of young quarterbacks because of what he can do and only he can do.
Yep.
And by the way, when the pocket's clean, Mahomes looks like a textbook quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he doesn't do it all the time either.
No, when like everything's clean, he just drops back and like balls up and perfect throw on time. Like, it's not a scramble drill every play. So
he uses the tools when he needs them. But the young quarterbacks now, they just do them whenever. They don't understand why he's doing that.
I'm going to do a 19-yard fade back and then try to, throw off my back foot. And it's like, no, don't do that. That's not good quarterbacking. So a big trend in quarterback development has been meet them where they are, meaning whatever they bring to you, no more redoing quarterback's mechanics. No more saying, hey, you throw the ball wrong. We're starting over. Here's how you got to hold the ball. Here's how you got to release the ball. That's all gone out the window. That's no longer, the thing you do as a quarterback coach or guru or even offensive coordinator. You just take the quarterback where they are and you fit them into your offense. And I think we're starting to realize that there may have been some value sometimes in completely rebuilding someone's throw, because some of these are broken and they really degrade in games, whereas you don't really see that degradation in practice.
You boxed. Like when you were learning to box, right, and you had a coach or anybody who could help you out, what if you tried to start doing Philly shell day one? What did your coaches tell you? Nah, you're not doing that style. Put your hands up. You're going to get hit. Like the fundamentals, it's in every sport. Whenever I was learning boxing, you want to go right hand for whatever reason. You want your stance to be wrong. You want your right hand in the front. And they're like, no, man, you want your left. It doesn't feel natural at first. It saves you from getting your ass beat. And I don't feel like they're doing that with quarterbacks now. Like teaching you, look, if you want to get cool and flashy later in your development cycle, great, but your core needs to be correct. And now they're just kind of being like, it worked in high school because they are a superior athlete. That's why they're in college. But once the talent levels out, it seems to be pretty detrimental to these quarterbacks. And you'll see it with Lagway. He'll throw off the back foot for no reason. He'll sidearm for no reason. He'll jump up in the air for no reason. And the difference is he's not completing the cool passes anymore. So what everyone thought was so cool about Lagway last year is actually a big factor in what's hurting him.
Papa Horn in the chat says, same is true with the one-handed catch. Yes, that is. Receivers are going out of their way to catch the ball one-handed when they could use two. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. I talked to my dad that lives in Oklahoma, which is a huge OU fan, was saying their quarterback will be back by Red River. I mean, BV is messaging, talking about material break records for coming back. Basically, just like Mateer, I don't like get back here. Talking to him. So we'll see, man. You hope that's the correct long-term thing for the human being of Mateer, but OU's also got to win. QB fundamentals might be a byproduct of NIL transfer portal. Coaches don't want to piss these guys off or they'll leave.
Maybe. I know Sark coaches pretty hard, so I don't think that's gone away from college.
Sark's intense, but also like Lagway's going to leave either way because you taught him bad quarterbacking, and he's just looking at like on the sidelines. It's embarrassing, for that young man. Like they can't even get, first downs. Like he's just having to go sit back down, and everyone's, it's not good for him either, man. So I do agree. You have to be a little bit more intelligent with how you talk to them because you don't have them trapped for 4 years, but not coaching them also ends up with them leaving as well. And looking really bad.
Also, you'll end up leaving. Yeah, not of your own accord.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So basically what we know is the Texas defense has massive advantage versus the Florida offense. Do they change something up? We'll see. I don't know how much there is to change up, but when you look at their roster, you look at them on the field, they have good size. One thing I think they're over-relying on is shifts and motions. They do a lot of pre-snap movement, and I'm not talking like a single shift where one guy goes. It's like the receivers on a motion, they shift both tight ends over. Man, for Lagway who's struggling, pre-snap, I don't want him thinking shifts and motions because if you watch him, he's doing all of this orchestrating, and he has like a second before the snap because they're running down the play clock, and that's prime time where he needs to be reading if he can read the defense. Instead, he's doing all this orchestrating, and then he has a second, and then he throws a pick. So I would also try to calm down on some of this stuff because you're getting way too low in the play clock, and he's not able to actually look at what the hell the defense is doing if they don't disguise. One thing LSU does, LSU didn't do a ton of motion. I know they're struggling, but when Nussmeier gets to the line, like all Nussmeier is doing is reading the defense, like period. Like guys are static. It might be too static, at least versus Florida that I watched. But he's constantly looking at his guy. Okay, the quick slant is here. The leverage is here. All of that stuff. Lagway doesn't get to do that a lot. And that's something that I kind of keyed in on. Motion and shifts give you an advantage. You do them too much, they turn into a disadvantage really quick. All right, now we can talk the defense. I think Ryan Nelson makes an astute point. Florida will play lots of too high. They are great at limiting explosives. Sark is going to have to be patient and drive the ball down the field, 10-play drives. The great teams can do that. I do agree the great teams can do that. So if we look at Florida's defensive explosiveness, 26 in the country. The offense is really bad. The defense is pretty good. It's not elite. It's not great, but it's definitely a good defense that they're showing off right now. So, but you're correct. They are 26 in the country on limiting explosiveness. They do keep too high safeties all the time. Can Arch complete the easy stuff is the first big question, Paul.
Yeah, and I would actually push back. I think their defense is better than their rankings even. I think they've been betrayed all season.
Oh, great context. 1,000%. They're on the field all the time. Like
at Baton Rouge against LSU, their defense surrendered 13 points because one of those is a pick six. The other 13 points came off of 4 turnovers from Florida's offense.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you can ask a D to do more than that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then here's the thing the interesting part of the mix. Caleb Banks is not going to play against us. Caleb Banks is their big defensive tackle. He's their best player on their defense. He's the most disruptive. He creates the most havoc. Without him, their defensive line is going to have to play sort of 2-gap. They're not going to try to do a bunch of penetration unless they're just cutting it loose and maybe they identified, hey, we're going to attack Cole Hudson and Connor Stroh, right? And DJ Campbell. We're going to try to penetrate and do that. Their D-line's not really built that way. They're more like hold the line of scrimmage, jack your guy up and stack and shed, right? Caleb Banks was their penetrator. He was their best pass rusher, most havoc-inducing player. He's not playing against us. Their next best defensive lineman is Tyreek Sapp. Sapp is a lot better when Banks is out on the field with him. He's a big defensive end, but he's a short defensive end. He's like 6'2", 270, super powerful, but not like elite quickness or anything. He really needs Caleb Banks to disrupt stuff, and then Sapp uses his power to finish plays. So, and then Gums is sort of he's well named. He's kind of like their long, flexible, skinny edge. He has been injured. I think he's back for the bye. I think he should be good to go. But he's kind of a flexible player. He can pass rush. He can drop into zone coverage. Again, not overwhelming one-on-one, but capable. So losing Banks was a big piece of that defense. They also lost a starting corner. I actually think the replacement's probably a better player.
Yeah, statistically, Cormani's actually their best corner, even though he was their third corner. And if you followed him, Cormani McLean was a guy that was at Colorado who had a falling out with Dion, transferred out, and he's done well at Florida. But they are down a corner, so they're not going to have that depth. They're not going to be able to rotate their corners a lot. So that's something to watch in this game. But yeah, they're going to play 2 safeties deep. At cornerback, they'll even play off coverage as well. And they'll just say, hey, we don't think you can execute up and down the field against us. And the problem with that is I don't know what that looks like without the X factor of Caleb Banks kind of disrupting and causing trouble for you outside of the scheme. Yeah. And you'll see we got a mismatch here, right? The Texas offense is 125th in the country in explosivity, and then the Florida defense is 26. So we do have a big advantage here. So anybody with the intuition that Texas won't get a lot of explosive plays, A, their scheme tries to limit it, but also B, Texas can't hit explosives. So it should be a game where Texas has to drive the field, short passing, running, stuff like that.
You really would hope our defense and special teams can set us up because I think Florida is a team that if we can get a good lead, it's going to be hard for them. We do have I do think that PK does have a tendency to sort of prevent the explosive at all costs once we get a lead. And sometimes teams can sort of nibble and get back into the game. Also, Sark's offense kind of shuts down, right? But we're going to have to bring it. I mean, look, I hate to do they're better than their record, but they're better than their record. If they had played, Ole Miss's schedule, they might be 4-1 right now. and we'd all be saying, "Ooh, Florida's dangerous," right? But they didn't, and they played real teams, and it exposed them. And like, just know that in the trenches, Miami is a very different animal on the offensive line than we are. Like, we're not going to dominate and push people around the way the Miami Hurricanes do.
Yeah. Man, they wore out Florida by the end of it, too. Those final drives running on them, that was a tired defense.
Yes.
Not getting any help. So hopefully you can wear on them because, like I said, they're on the field way too much. What's interesting is, and Paul kind of hit on it, their defensive havoc for the front seven is 102nd in the country, right? So it's not a lot of sacks. It's not a lot of batted balls, that kind of stuff. So that's what's interesting, that even if you play this off coverage, but you don't get to the quarterback, coverage can't hold up, for 6 seconds. So it can still get there if they're not able to get to guys for the sack. So here's some defensive rushing ability from them. They're 16th in the country. They're not letting teams generally string together big rushing drives. Now, Miami did it towards the end, but that's Cristobal's offensive line. That's the context of their offense, leaving them out to dry. But that's an interesting thing, that they're not generally letting people have a ton of success in the run game. Yards per rush, middle of the road, 64th in the country. And pretty good at stopping the explosive. It's still a mismatch in the favor for Florida because we're 123rd in the country on offense and rushing explosivity.
Is that good?
It's great, dude.
Okay.
So we don't expect explosives from our run game. And frankly, this is not even matchup dependent. It doesn't matter who we play. We don't get explosives in the run game. So that means Texas would have to be consistent on the ground. Well, Florida has the advantage in ground consistency. So there's a chance here that Texas can't run for explosive. Texas can't run consistently. Now we have to lean on Arch. Well, they play a too high shell, and we struggle to drive down the field. There's potential frustrations here for the Texas offense that the numbers are trying to tell us.
What's the vibe going to be? Like, is this a sellout because of the novelty of Texas? Is it the fans' sense that everything is on this game? Because this game is their 5th of the season, right? Game 5 is when you could no longer redshirt.
Correct. So their guys can't sit out if you fire your coach too.
So there's a reason. Part of that, the reason Billy Napier hasn't been fired is they don't probably have the full X's and O's, like logistics taken care of, but also that they're trying to basically trap these guys on the roster.
Yeah.
So that then the replacement at least has the opportunity to woo them, right?
Yeah.
Because if they go redshirt and enter the portal, it's harder to like get that guy back in, right? He's out. He's out on the season. He shut it down. So that's going to be part of it. They're coming off the bye, and you still have this faint promise of last year, where Florida started off terrible, right? They got blown out by Miami in their home field. A&M came in and whooped them. They were sub 500, and then they had this crazy winning streak to end the season. And everyone got faith back. And that's why you had this momentum and like, wow, look at Florida. They're really going to make noise in the SEC this year. There's still that faint promise. So are the fans going to be there like going crazy, or are we going to see some empty seats in the swamp?
So it's back against the wall because can likely, if Texas wins convincingly, this is likely the nail in Napier's coffin. That can be a big factor. The novelty of Texas. What is the stat that everyone keeps saying? Texas hasn't played at Florida since like 1940 or whatever.
Yeah.
Big brand. We beat the hell out of them last year, so they were waiting for us to come back. But also, isn't the weather potentially going to be really bad? So that could have an effect. It might have to be a rushing game because it's raining so hard. So this game is weird, and also it's not great analysis, but the wounded animal theory is here for Florida. And you regress towards the mean, but they could progress towards the mean in one of these games eventually, because you look at them, just the eye test, you're like, that's a good looking football team. Like, they look the part. They're big. They play heavy personnel. Like, that's why it's so confusing watching them, because they look like they should be a good team. So there's also the chance that Florida has been playing so bad below their average that they could, have a game where they play a little better, especially with a bye week. So there's that factor, but it could turn into a rushing game real quick if the weather's really bad too. But that could also keep fans from coming to the stadium. So I don't know what the vibe's going to be. Defensive line yards, 23rd. This is where they're interesting. They're 118th in power success rate. So, like, if you can get into those short distances, you can move them off the ball. And then stuff rate, they're not penetrating like Paul said. So they're 104th. So they're not getting in. There's not a lot of backfield action with Florida. So if the quarterback can just stay calm, the running backs can stay calm, you shouldn't have a ton of heat on you. Paul, who's going to calm you down when you get your mortgage?
Gabe Winslow. Amazing segue, Connor.
Thank you.
You got to reach Gabe Winslow at 832-557-1095. Oh, yeah. It's calming to have the best guy in the state of Texas on your side. But it's exciting also because he's going to get an amazing deal for you. He's a mortgage broker. He's going to go and shop your deal to 60 different lenders, and he's going to get you the best possible terms. It's not just about your rate, guys. It's about the structure of the deal. And there's a lot of people out there who will pay points to get a lower rate, not understanding that they're going to have a chance to refi again in a year or a year and a half, and you probably don't want to pay points. So they say marry the house, date the rate. Gabe is going to teach you. This is dating school. This is speed dating. Gabe is going to teach you how to do that most efficaciously and most efficiently. Give him a call, 832-557-1095.
Absolutely. All right, let's look at their passing defense because if our run game does struggle, this might have to be an option. We'll see if it can work, though. So for all the too high and all this stuff, they're 42nd in defensive passing explosivity. It's above average, but it's not elite, right?
Yeah.
So there should be some opportunities there. And like we said, when the defense is on the field for this many snaps, and also their morale just gets destroyed throughout the game. I mean, they're doing sprints because they're leaving and then they're coming back in the 3 and out. They're leaving. I mean, we're not talking about the cardio it takes for this defense to come on and off the bench so frequently. So that's a big factor. Let's look at their success rate. 37th, so teams are not being able to nickel and dime a bunch. And then big number here, 126 in the country in QB sack rate. So they're not getting to the quarterback, and a really big bright spot of Arch is he doesn't get sacked either. He's been great in the pocket there. So my thing with Arch is, hey, man, I know it's a swamp. It's a little intense. They're going to keep things in front of them. But guess what? You're going to have time. You know, you don't have to bail. You don't have to freak out. Breathe. You might get a full 4 seconds back there fairly often. So just wait and let things kind of sort out. That's my big key for Arch because they're not like you said, they're not a penetrating defense.
One aspect of a defense like Florida with the too high and all that is that it can get predictable. So there's things that you can do if you think you can pass protect or you think Arch Manning can elude pressure, when he gets it. You can do some things on delay that could be effective against this defense. And so I would encourage you to look for some running back and tight end action where they initially block. And then once the patterns are getting run and the defense is getting spread out and starting to claim depth and all that, we pop it out to a tight end or a running back in the flat or on a Texas route, right? Or an option route. And you'll see some easy 7, 12, 15-yard gains doing that. But you've got to kind of hold the ball and give it time to develop. I think there's going to be some of that available. And then we're going to run the football. I mean, I understand our issues running the ball. I was at the forefront of pointing them out, even against Ohio State, when people were lulled into thinking that we had a good run game or something because we were playing against a light box on purpose. But we are going to try to run the ball because Florida is not going to put like 9 guys on the line of scrimmage. It's not going to be that kind of defense. So if we can get into manageable rundowns, abetted by some of that short passing game, 2nd and 2 is a more favorable time to run the ball than 2nd and 11. So that's something to kind of look for.
Yeah, this will be a really good test for Arch on can he stay calm? Because theoretically it should be there, even though the feeling might be that it won't be just because of the heightened sense of the game. But that's going to be important. And like Paul said, we're going to run regardless. Even if we are the worst rushing offense in the country, it does not matter. Sark's going to run the ball. So I want to see what QB run can do as well too. This is a too high ultimately, right? So you do want that defender is out of the box. Theoretically, you can run. Their overall defense, opponent adjusted for everyone they've played, they're 22nd in the country in their efficiencies. They're they're better than that as well. Their offense just keeps consistently screwing them over. Standard down rate, a little bit above average. So they're all right there. This is what's interesting. 7th in passing down success rate. So getting behind the sticks is not wise versus Florida. You want to be able to stay ahead of the sticks. The problem is Texas is 87th on offense in passing down success rate. So Florida has a mismatch advantage here versus our offense. So the key, man, is you got to stay ahead of the sticks or this offense is going to stall out versus this defense, and you're going to see a lot of frustration and reaching and all of that.
Penalties.
Yeah,
More than any other opponent. I mean, it's always relevant. Florida just kills you if you get a motion penalty, a hold, just dumb stuff that we've been doing all year, particularly on the offensive line. 1st and 15 for this offense. I remember distinctly back in 2005 and 2004 with VY, we would have like a holding penalty. It'd be 2nd and 20. And you'd be like, oh, well, we'll still convert this. It's fine.
Yeah, he'll do a backflip and
jump over the whatever. Guy. He'll throw it to Ramonce Taylor and he'll juke 3 dudes, or Vince will just keep it on a bootleg and run for 23. By the way, on that 23-yard run, it looks like he went 4 yards. But this is an offense that if they get put behind the chains, it's just a struggle. Like there's just no explosivity. So these guys have got to just be disciplined, keep their heads about them. We can't do the obligatory offsides nonsense. We can't have dumb holds. Like just play clean, and it's going to be really hard for Florida to beat us.
So the weird thing is they're not great on 3rd down on defense. Miami was executing 3rd downs like crazy versus them. But they're not a great 3rd down defense. Doesn't matter. We're worse in 3rd down offense, so we can't take advantage of that. There's still a better 3rd down defense than we are a 3rd down offense. We're 92nd in the country for 3rd down offense. Really bad on 4th downs, but once again, I believe that's a small sample size this early into the year. I think we're going to have a mismatch up here in red zone. Yeah. So they're 14th in touchdown only red zone. Texas is 103rd. So we would expect the Texas offense to have red zone troubles. This is why explosivity would be really helpful, because once we get like to their side of the 40, you want to just score, because we're not great executors in condensed space, but we don't really have that option either. So this is why I'm kind of hinting. Everyone's talking about the Florida offense struggling. All these numbers say the Texas offense is going to struggle too. And so that's kind of you might see and you'll see the penalties for these teams as well. This might be a disgusting game, Paul. It could easily be incredibly boring, very slow, banging your head against the wall in the run game, and then you hope your guy gets free eventually.
What if we were like Penn State and James Franklin, and we've been holding back our true offense?
Yeah. Dude. We were embarrassing the entire team nationally, so we can look good versus Florida. Hey, there's a bye week, and Sark has been more adaptive than I gave him credit for going into the season. I think he's been much more willing to change things up. So we'll see. Just by letting his quarterback on designed quarterback runs, and it's not in the red. What is going on? So that's a big thing. Another mismatch we have here, advantage for Texas, is sacks per game. So they're 125th, Texas 17th. Arch, calm down. You're going to be fine. You have plenty of time in the pocket. Just make the throw type of thing. They're not great at causing fumbles. I was going to say they're not great at causing fumbles either, so the back should be able to hold on to the ball. This number didn't get updated. This is tackles for loss. The website went down, but Texas is 19th in not allowing those. So we shouldn't, like I said, you shouldn't see penetration in the pass or the run game on the offense. They should have time to work.
So this would be the area we were talking about, overall team. Look at penalties per game and luck rating. Florida has had horrendous luck. By the way, we haven't had good luck, but Florida has been particularly horrendous in that regard. And look at our penalties per game, right? We're 122nd in the country.
This is why, dude, you watch Florida and you're like, they got to be the worst team in the country for penalties. Like, it's brutal. And then you're like, nope, Texas is somehow worse.
And Ole Miss, by the way, Ole Miss should have beat LSU by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's an interesting part of this, that would be the disruptor, right? Why is this game uncomfortably close? Or why does Florida have a lead going into the fourth quarter? Why is it 13-10 Florida going into the fourth quarter? It would be these two things right there, that interplay. And not to switch back to the Florida offense, but one of the great things about the Texas defensive tackle room is the versatility of that room and its ability to play different styles. If it's really bad rainy weather and Florida just says, we're going to line up big and pound the ball with Jaden Baugh, we've got Cole Brevard. We've got guys that we can put in that we know can stop the run. So that's a big advantage. Ethan Burke has been awesome against the run. That's very useful. If Florida decides we got Dallas Wilson back, we're going to play action and throw it deep. Hey, we've got enough different types of bodies that we can keep bringing heat all game. So is Alex January back for this game?
I do not know.
Okay.
I will make sure I'll ask Eric on our Q&A tomorrow. He can get that answer.
Because I think so that I love Hero Kanu. I think he's been our best defensive tackle. He has the most snaps for a reason. He's the most disruptive guy. Cole Brevard's my second favorite, just because you put him in and the run gets stopped, right? I mean, within 5 yards either direction, the run doesn't happen, right? I think January is an important piece too. And we didn't see enough of him to fully know what's up with him, but he's so good from the backside, just making hustle plays at his size with his length. That's a really potent combo when you're playing an outside zone or inside zone team, which Florida almost exclusively is. So having that kind of big man pursuit ability inside out, don't underestimate it. It's gigantic. And then we've got edges that are really good at setting the edge. So that's going to be a big advantage in sort of thwarting outside zone, as long as our linebackers don't screw up some of their fits.
Yeah. Yeah, this could be a potentially, you have two incredibly unlucky teams that shoot themselves in the foot all the time. And so this could be a very gross game. The only thing that's helpful here is they're 120th in turnover margin. Texas is 29th. So that might be the difference maker, right? Like, both teams shoot themselves in the foot, bad things happen, but Texas doesn't turn it over and Lagway does. That might decide this.
Yeah, Arch, even when he's failing, is not a turnover machine. So that's important, because when your quarterback is failing and turning it over, it's like, man, our offense doesn't have it today. We got to win 17-14 today. When your offense is failing and it's turning it over, you're getting points scored on you while the defense is sitting on the sideline, or you're setting up short fields. And that's where it gets disastrous. So everyone's like, bet the under on this game, bet the under on this game. Hey, if the Texas defense balls out and catches a couple of stray balls, we could have 14 points on the board and not a single offensive possession.
Yeah.
So
defensive scoring is important for me in this game, where it could get nasty. The only thing that's tricky part is we do need to see more turnovers from the Texas defense. They've been absolutely dominant, but they just haven't. It was basically San Jose State. So it's like, if you can get a multi-turnover game, I think that's going to decide it. What's really got to be frustrating for both of these teams, look at the net field position for both of them. Florida is 14th in the country. Texas is 3rd. So these defenses and special teams units are handing these offenses incredible opportunities, and the offenses are like, no, thank you.
No, thanks.
Yeah, no thanks. So, like, if Napier could just figure out this offense to get them to average, this would be an incredibly formidable team. Same with Texas. So it's not like the offense are being put in bad situations for both of them. Like, they are being handed golden opportunities. They're just not doing anything with them.
It's also interesting that Ohio State obviously has performed well since playing Texas. Our other non-cons have not looked so great.
Yeah.
UTEP
Dude, UTEP, all the UTEP fans, because remember, I was like, I hate this team. And all the fans were like, this is a well-coached team, whatever. Next week, ULM lost. I'm just like, guys, it's not a good team.
Louisiana Tech blew him out too. They also benched Malachi Nelson.
Did they? Well, that's the third time he's been benched.
Well, he threw another pick six, which I think Malachi Nelson has like 7 career pick sixes or something crazy.
Because he doesn't, dude. The safeties, he does. It's like they don't even exist. He's just gonna throw it no matter what. Sometimes it's a touchdown. Most times it is a pick six. So this is an interesting game. I know everyone is very keyed in on Florida's offense versus Texas defense. That's not really the matchup to me. It's the Texas offense versus the Florida defense. What can we do?
If the Texas offense comes out and there's 20 points on the board at halftime, like, we're good to go.
Yep.
But if it's freaking 10-7 at halftime, I think we know the game we're going to be in for. It's going to be a slog. We're going to try to win 20-14 or something.
Yeah, it can be one of those same a win on score only where it feels, like damn.
Not to be cliched here, but any SEC road win, particularly this year, is valuable.
Yeah.
Trust me, guys, flash forward, we'll be very happy to come out of Starkville with a win. Just however it looks. So that's the reality. I don't think there's a dominant SEC team. All of them are fallible in different ways. You just got to stay in the hunt and keep putting up W's. That's all that matters.
And then I think I have Parker's breakdown. Yeah, so this is Parker Fleming. He does CFB. Graphs.com. Go check him out, guys. I think the win probability for Texas is at 75.9.
Yeah.
Florida, and the projected score is 28-13.
Yeah, if we don't help them on offense, Florida scoring around 13 makes sense to me. Like that.
Yeah.
Hits.
Yeah, anywhere from 7-13, their score. Parker's a little more sunny, or his numbers, not Parker, but his analytics are a little bit more sunny on Texas. I'd be happy to get to 28 with how, like we've seen with the luck rating and the penalties per game, and then still not sure about Arch after Sam Houston.
Well, that's not all offense, right? Team scoring is a total team measure. It's not just your offense.
Yeah. That's why I hope the defense shows up, because that will let you, if you get to 20 early, man, and Sark naturally does this anyways, you'll be able to chill out. Somebody said in the chat, I can't find it, but they said everything points to this being a low scoring slog. So that means one team's offense is going to become elite. It's going to score like 60. That'll be the biggest thing. Are there any other factors, players, things like that you think we missed, or chat you think we missed?
I think Caleb Bakes being out for them is a big deal for that defense in terms of disruption, chaos, havoc. I think the cornerback being out Dijon Johnson is being overplayed. Cormani McLean's really good, and he's going to be the replacement. It may affect their depth, and maybe that's something late. We put something together. Also, are we getting Mosley back?
Sark won't tip his hand. Like Sark. Okay. Like, what did they ask him in the presser yesterday about Mosley? He's like, he's a good player. Like, that's all, and so we'll have to see on the injury report. I think that comes out, what day is it? Tuesday? Don't those come out on Wednesday night? And so he'll have to disclose eventually. How big of a factor do you think that is? I know people feel like Mosley will be a game. I know he can block well. What do you think that means?
I like it for this game because there's going to be space to settle into if you can read a defense. Turn around, be strong, have big, strong hands, be 210 pounds, catch the ball and turn upfield and get 11 yards. And that's what Mosley does. That's his specialty. So I'm not looking to Wingo for precision route running. I think if Mosley's good to go, I think we'll see a fair amount of Mosley entries and more, if that makes sense.
Yeah. All right. That was fun. I mean, bye weeks are cool because you get to breathe a little bit, but those are boring. I needed to analyze something.
Connor, you better get out of here fast because there's guys in there talking noise about Blake Shapen.
Oh, my God.
I don't know.
Who are these fools in the chat?
I don't know who would talk trash about Blake Shapen around Connor Moffitt, but
dude,
you're about to find out some stuff, man.
Yeah, dude, they're crazy. Saying that about the chosen one like that. But seriously, Mississippi State, that's a little bit of a sketchy game. They got too many 4-3 guys. Lebby knows how to play this defense. They've won. They fought honorably last year.
They have the injuries I don't know about because they're 14.5 going into College Station.
I don't know.
Mississippi State can spread you out and run the ball. That's
Yeah.
A&M's sort of Achilles heel on defense. If you can spread them out and then make them choose how they're going to play. So A&M's defense, Elko had an awesome game plan and just destroyed Freeze all game. But when you spread A&M out and you can run the ball, then you make them make some choices. And they've got some guys in their secondary who are not very contact willing, if you might offer that description.
Oh, I'll take it. Guys, go to InsideText.com. You can join for just $1 and get a full year of access to The Athletic. Also, scan that QR code, guys. It'll take you straight to the sign-up link. You'll get the promo, all of that. Paul, thank you, man. Chat, thank y'all. We got some Florida Gators going on. We got a film study. That's going to be fun. We're going to break down Florida. So you're going to be able to see with your eyes what's going on with Florida. You're going to be able to use all your senses. And we're going to be able to show you exactly what's going on with them. Chat, thank you. Paul, thank you. And this was IT Live, and it was brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Have a great day, everyone. Peace.